Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I have a very, very, very special guest, Mr. Brandon Arrington, Texas A&M Aggies. Man, he's got a smile. He's smiling wide, 11-0. Big game this week. But we couldn't have this week without me and you. Chit
Man,
chat.
I'm just grateful. Yeah, I'm love. Thanks for having me, Steve. I appreciate it. It's good to be in this position. I can't lie.
It should be. It should be. Tickets punch for the college football playoff in some capacity. We don't know what, but you guys are in. The SEC championship game. Like, there's a lot, right? And so just this matchup coming in. I mean, there's a lot on the table for Texas and us trying to finish our season strong and whatever little bit of hope there is for those who believe that the playoffs are still a possibility. And, honestly, being spoilers and trying to ruin a perfect season on y'all's end, trying to go, undefeated in this rivalry since we've been in the SEC. There's a lot at stake, right? And you guys coming in trying to go 12-0, finishing a perfect regular season, which I don't care who you are. That's especially in today's era of college football, especially in the SEC. That is freaking impressive. So, welcome back, Brandon. Guys, before I pass it over to Brandon, make sure you hit the like button. It's free to show love. Hit the like button, subscribe, the whole bit. I see some of you brothers and sisters be hanging out. Don't hit no buttons, but y'all know everything I got to say. Please do me a favor and hit one of the buttons, okay? Either the like button, even better if you hit the subscribe button, so you know when we doing shows like this and tapping that. Anyway, appreciate you. Brandon, 11-0. What were your expectations for the season coming in? And then how did we get to an 11-0 Texas A&M football team?
Well, expectations coming in. I can tell you it wasn't 11-0. Um, I wouldn't even have said that the expectation would have been to be undefeated in November to this point. Like I told you from the onset in the first, I trust Elko. That hasn't changed. Now, what he's shown me is he has built a culture utilizing transfers in a needed space, a defense that rises to the occasion when he needs to, and an offense that's able to beat you in multiple ways. Like he's been able to build this culture very quickly. And it's taken a lot of you hear the word grit a lot, and I think going to Notre Dame, all the road wins so far, Notre Dame, Missouri, even at home to South Carolina, took a lot of grit, and a lot of hey, we're not done. I think these teams in years past would have folded in that situation that they had in South Carolina. But instead, they're when you listen to the guys in the press conference, they're laughing at halftime, like, man, can't believe I dropped that pass. Can't believe I overthrew you. Like that's a culture that we're not used to seeing and used to having in Aggie, and I'm loving it right now. Like I trust Elko now. Getting here in 11 low, gosh almighty, it's been a heck of a ride. I've just been sitting back and enjoying it. And this weekend, big, you know, uh, big things on the line. Do we want to finish 12-0? Yes. But, having that 99.9% chance of being in the college football playoff for the first time for Texas A&M is also a huge deal in itself. Do I want a home game for, one more in Aggieland? Sure. But is it nice to progress further into the playoff by having a bye? Absolutely. But, there's still ball to be played that's going to make those determinations. But man, this is just one of those seasons where you just sit back and you enjoy it and you take it all in because who expected us to be here?
That's a great point, man. Who expected that, right? And this has been an interesting season. I mean, Indiana being up there, what they've done in the Big Ten, I think where Texas has fallen to. And it's we're in an interesting spot as Texas fans because you guys are looking college playoff bound. OU's looking playoff bound. Texas Tech is looking playoff bound. North Texas might make the college football playoff. So this is tough. I mean, because we came into the season with the expectations ourselves of being the number one team in the country, and that was not just the expectation here, but the expectation across the country. But some things have gone sideways. We're still fighting, and looking forward to this matchup here. I guess for you guys, what was the turning point? What was the game where you were like, nah, this group is different? Was it the Notre Dame game? Was it the LSU game? Or was it as recently as the South Carolina game? Like, when did you know that this A&M team was on a different mental, cultural whole thing?
Notre Dame. When have we won a shootout? Let's answer that, especially on the road. So from that point, it's like, man, this team is special. We can, you go back a season or two, we haven't been able to win in that capacity. Being able to go and have a shootout was a little bit of fortune, yes, but if you don't think that you need some good fortune in this sport to have an undefeated season or have a good regular season, then you're fooling yourself. Like that's you need good fortune and health. You need some balls to bounce your way, and that's what we're getting this season. But like Mike Elko said, hey, this has been months in the making. The preparation that these boys have been doing for this team in the summer, in the spring, is all coming to fruition now. So again, it's been a very good culture change. But that Notre Dame game for me was what it's like. Man, we can score 40 points on the road. Like that's different. That's different.
It's interesting too because after that game is the way you guys won, right? I mean, there was the Terry Bussey kick return that gets called back. Like it was bad stuff happening. And it was like,
Mhm.
all right, next play.
Yeah,
Right. And you're down a fourth and goal. I think it was fourth and goal where he hits the tight end on the touchdown, right?
yeah.
Like, you know, fourth and ball game essentially. Like those type of situations, so you do need luck. You do need that, but you guys created some of your own luck by answering that. I mean, a lot of teams would have been like, "Oh man, dang it, we had the kick return and got called back, or we had this." Like, woe is me. And I haven't seen that from Texas A&M, and I was so confident y'all were going to come back versus South Carolina in that game that I live bet y'all at halftime. Texas A&M money line. I'm
Man,
dead
I didn't.
serious.
Hey, that's great. I didn't see. I didn't get to see that game. Unfortunately, I was coaching my youth tackle team at that time. But I had a parent come up to me and he was like, "Hey, your boys were down 30-3 at halftime, and it's 31-30." And I was just like, "Who? Like we're winning?" But at the same time, I mean, it just goes back to that grit and determination they've been talking about. Then I kind of went back and watched the highlights, and it looked like that first half, just a lot of things were just going wrong, right? We had a couple of bad interceptions in the red zone where people are open. We're just making bad passes. You correct those things in the second half. You stop missing the things that they're giving you. Again, a little bit of fortune with the tipped interception there, but again, you need those things to happen. So it is a lot of, I mean, grit and determination on this team. These boys are just going out playing for each other, and you love to see this type of culture.
So getting into our matchup, let's talk about it, right? I mean, where I see this game coming down to are two big things. Number one, Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed. I mean, you know, I feel like so much of this game is predicated on how he starts the game. What is the defense giving him? Is he hitting on what the defense is getting him? Like those type of things. So big part of that is focusing on Marcel Reed, right? And how he's been. And can Texas take advantage if he's shaky? If he's not hitting those throws, can Texas get anything out of that? Or if he comes in and it starts to look like how it's looked in every SEC quarterback that's faced Texas, except for John Mateer, where they easily get into rhythm early in the game and start cooking, I think that could be problematic for Texas. So number one is Marcel Reed for me. Number two is Elko versus Sark. Where's the give and take there? Because so much of what we got away with last year in that game was we were able to run the football, and I think it got y'all out of your exotics. Y'all heated up Quinn Ewers early, but he was injured, and we weren't really doing a whole lot with him. And then we started hitting on some explosives. We got an early lead, and we just kind of sat on it with our run game. and we're efficient because y'all really weren't doing anything offensively. So game flow kind of dictated some things last year, I felt like. Whereas this year, we're going to have to score. I think both teams understand this is not going to be the 17-7 type game it was in College Station. So the other one is, what answers does Sark have for the complexities that Elko will bring forth? Those are the two keys I see. What say you?
I look at this a couple of things as well. I do agree with you on Marcel Reed. Because if he comes out and we see the Marcel Reed we saw in South Carolina, where he's missing these passes and Texas is able to capitalize and get turnovers, Texas is not going to fold like South Carolina. So I definitely think Marcel Reed comes into is a big part of how the game shakes out. But I also look at this. I also look at one: can we establish the run? I can see now our identity. We want to run the ball, get you to come down and take our shots when they're there. We have the speed at receiver this year, something we did not have last year. The ability to stretch the field on both sides and in a slot. It's great. But in order to do that, we have to be able to run the ball. We have to get those safeties come down in the box to help with the run game. If not, then hey, if you can sit too high, stop the run. Okay, makes life a little bit harder for what we want to do and get accomplished. Secondly, um, speaking of run game, what can Texas A&M's defense do against your run game? Can we make those third downs third and long? And how often can we do that? Now, our defense on third down conversion is great, but
No,
also,
number one in the country.
yeah, but here's the flip side of that. When you get in the red zone, we're one of the worst defenses at allowing touchdowns. So, are we going to put you in those positions where we can get those third and longs to get you off the field or not? If it's going to be third and short, and you're able to put those methodical drives together, get into the red zone where we've struggled all year, that's what I'm looking at. So, how do we stop the run game and how do we establish the run?
You know, on the y'all side of the house, Elko said probably not for Le'Veon Moss this week. And then he went back and referenced, well, I still got Ruben Owens and, crew, right? Like, we should still feel good. What do you expect from this A&M run game if Le'Veon Moss is, assuming he's not coming back this week? He hasn't played since the Florida game. What are your expectations for the run game?
A big difference between this year and last year is the run game when Le'Veon Moss has not been a part of the of that conversation. Jamari Amaro, Ruben Owens, EJ Smith has been surprising. They said he was fully healthy this year, and I can actually see that difference. And it is a true committee now, where we'll use some dual running back situations. And I love what Morrow's been able to do in the passing game. Saving Ruben Owens, you have two really good ball catchers in the backfield there. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting different looks. I'm expecting, hey, as much as I hate it, we got to keep you honest. So there's definitely we're going to attack that interior a little bit. I'm not thinking that we're going to have much success there, but I think it's going to open up the things like the jets and the wide zones that Klein wants to do off of that. Which, if we can have success there, again, that's going to cause those safeties to come down. That's going to work on our play action. And if we get one-on-one with Concepcion, and if Craver's healthy and comes back, that's something I'll take. But also, you have guys like Ashton Bethel Roman who stepped up. And it's we're seeing just weapons that we haven't been able to have and utilize at A&M. And again, it's fun to see. It's fun to see. Last year, I had no idea what Klein wanted to do offensively. Now I understand it. We just didn't have the guys to do it last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, ABR plus Concepcion plus Craver. I'm a big Craver guy. Then that's allowed you to kind of do more gadgety stuff with Terry Bussey and
Hmm.
use him where needed, right? And
Same with
it's a
Isaiah Williams.
it's same with Isaiah Williams. Like, it's a full crew. I guess with y'all's run game, Texas, we're assuming Anthony Hill's going to play. As of now, it sounds like he might be a go. If Anthony Hill's in there, we won't have Anthony Smith for the first half because of a targeting penalty that occurred in the second half of the Arkansas game. I am curious to see how we defend. We to me, one of the goals for Texas is to really, really force you guys to be one dimensional and bottle up a lot of your quarterback run stuff and your run game stuff, in the same light. I do think we'll give up some stuff on the perimeters, but we're normally, I think, at our best between the tackles and trying to run, like even Arkansas was, they popped one early in the game, but when it comes down to like true nut cutting time at the goal line, dirty yards, like we're really good in the middle of that. So I am expecting, I think, for like a gotta have for Texas is we got to control the middle of the defense against y'all's run game and make that to where it's just, a wasted down, so to speak. I think if you guys are able to have any success there, then it keeps your offense full menu, your play action still effective. Everything else you do off of that will be a problem. My big worry, I'm not worried about that. I think we can. I think we can be up to that challenge, especially if Anthony Hill can be 80% of himself. My thing is our coverage. I just don't like the way we're conceding yardage to quarterbacks to start these games. Um, I would like to see us try to come up and challenge these receivers and show that they want to compete. I'm tired of us sitting in zones. I know me and you have been going back and forth about some of my frustrations with it. Um, yeah, that's a big concern for me is the Texas secondary versus these A&M receivers because Marcel Reed doesn't have to be a superhero. He just has to be average, and they can create chunk plays against us. So what would say you there in terms of that matchup? I think that's a matchup that you guys are probably looking a lot forward to is exploiting the Texas secondary.
I would say this. I would actually prefer it if you did come up and challenge us versus being able to sit back, drop 8, rush 4. Drop 7, 8, rush 3, 4, and be able to get home. I would much rather you come up because, again, I love the way that, similar to Stark, actually, what Klein is doing as far as utilizing motions, different shifts to create some type of leverage for our receivers to have against the secondary. Like, I would love that. As far as what do I see, to me, it's going to come down. Will Marcel be able to make his progressions, but then make the throw after making the progression? Will he be able to come down to his second, third reads and make an accurate throw? I do think that we're going to have receivers open. To your point, Texas secondary. Although I do like a lot of those guys in your secondary has struggled a little bit. Even when we see it on film, I think PK is honestly on film doing a great job disguising his coverages. And against Georgia and second half against Vanderbilt, those quarterbacks were just able to make progressions and make good throws. Will Marcel Reed be able to do that? Because I think there will be opportunities there. It's just, can we take advantage of them? Because we've seen, hey, they can, even with Texas, you can have receivers running wide open down the field, but if you can't hit them, it doesn't matter. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's
waste.
what I'm hoping.
You know, I do think to your point though, that's more. I want to see if he's. I don't know. I want to see a change up. I'm just tired of us conceding a rhythm, like somebody starting the game 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 on us. And it's just it's frustrating. Like I want to see us be able to try to jump a route or anticipate something or even just being a little bit more disruptive. I mean, last week we got our first defensive score of the season on a on a
That was
on a
surprising.
fumble. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's surprising a little bit for how much talent is on this Texas defense, and as well as guys like Colin Simmons are playing. Speaking of that, I do think a strength on strength here is your offensive line versus our defensive line. You guys have probably the best offensive line in totality in the SEC. Um, we have, I think, our defensive line has been playing excellent football, and we have a great rotation. We have a bunch of guys that we can throw in there, and I do feel that I feel like we can get pressure against anybody. I just want my coverage to be married behind it, but
Right.
that's a matchup here, right? Is how do you guys block Colin Simmons, or do you feel as though hey we can win straight up with our tackles? We feel comfortable. What say you there?
Can we win straight up with our tackles? I feel like one side, and I'm not gonna disclose which side that is. I feel like one side, yes. I feel like the other side, we might need to chip or use a tight end. Um, but I think both of these teams are not without their struggles in that area. Offensive line wise, to begin the season, we were atrocious as far as penalties, as far as holdings, as far as shooting ourselves in the foot. Um, and so, we've been able to correct a lot of those things here in the second half of the season, which has helped a lot. Um, and being able to protect Marcel Reed pretty good, but also his ability to buy himself time in the pocket, evade some of the rush helps as well. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that this weekend because, again, I just don't understand how you're going to stop Colin Simmons off the edge. Love that kid. And if he does come up the edge, is Marcel able to step up in the pocket, or are we able to win those inside battles that doesn't collapse the pocket to allow him to buy time, maybe even use his legs to extend plays and create mismatches downfield? It's hard to cover in any league for 5-6 seconds. So if you're able to step up, create a little bit more time for yourself, make those progressions, I think it'll be good. But I also think the run game kind of helps with that. If we're able to run it on the perimeter, then those edges kind of have, they don't have the freedom to sit run field. They
True.
got to, learn it. All right, we got to set the edge. So I think that plays a factor into it as well. But, what do we come out? Are we come out, trying to thinking that, hey, we can run the ball, so let's try to pass and get that pass rush, come upfield, and then we use that against them and run the ball. Or hey, we think we can run, so let's. Or sorry, we think we can pass, so let's run the ball, set up the pass later. What do we feel we can do? That part I don't know, and I'm curious and excited to see what Klein cooks up this weekend.
Should be interesting. I'm curious how you guys use those tight ends because they can come in handy when needed. You guys have been multiple with that at times. I guess moving over to the other side of the ball. Where's your head at with Arch Manning? I mean, are you? Everybody has an opinion on the kid. Um, I'm curious I mean, is there any fear factor at all with you? Or are you like, oh, he's food to us? What is your take in terms of the matchup against number 16 on Texas, the
And
quarterback?
well, I think Arch Manning's a heck of a ball player, and I'm not going to say he's food. I think the expectation coming into the season on a guy who hadn't had a true road game was a little high for my liking, and I think as he settled into the season, we're seeing what the ratings were about, what Sark sees in him. He's able to use his legs, extend plays. He's made some pro style throws that just are incredible. So, not going to say he's food now. I will say this: a lot of teams have been able to hit him, and that's what I'm hoping that we'll be able to do. Cassius Howell off the edge, Marco Jones off the edge. Like we have a good rotation of pass rushers that can get home. To your point, we can also bring those exotics where, hey, it might look like your first read is open. We take away your first read. We're bringing six or overloading one side. What are you going to do? But also, are we going to wrap up? Last year and even times this year, just our tackling has been poor. We get there, but then we don't finish the job. And I think, with someone like Arch Manning, he's a guy that can make you pay if you don't finish that job. So I'm excited to see what we do. I don't think he's food. I think he's gonna battle. And I think he'll make his plays, but will we step up when he makes his plays and make our own? It's gonna be a question.
What when you look at the Texas offense, what have you seen? How would you describe the Texas offense from your vantage point?
You know, I've I've always tried to understand how Sarkeesian is a pro style offense with all the motion and interception that he does. Now, I think the concepts, okay, sure. But I think that, he uses a lot of window dressing, that, if you're not disciplined, it'll catch you off guard. It'll get you out leverage, and that's what he wants to do is find a way to out leverage you. I look at Georgia when he's doing all that dressing, they didn't move too much. I mean, they're just like, all right, he's coming over here. We might take a step here, but you don't see guys chasing across the field, having to move too far to get out levered, and I think that helped them a lot. Um, Now, I also think Kirby Smart's just one of those guys on defense that just knows ball. So, um,
True.
I feel the same way about Elko. So, to your point, what does Elko do about that? Um, but as far as Sark, I mean, he wants to run the ball. it sets up the play action. It sets up his shot. He loves the motion deep crossers, utilizing motion to get your eyes to look a certain way, to deceive yourself and make you not handle your own responsibility. He's a very good job at that. He has a lot of plays that look very similar, but all can do, you can have three, four options out of one play. And like you said before, hey, I'm running this play one or two times now for the third quarter. How do we make those adjustments then? Do we stay disciplined when those come? And do we execute on that side of the ball, which against the offense like Sark is very difficult to do, honestly.
It's interesting too because to your point, like last week, we've been running this perimeter screen to Wingo to start the last 3 or 4 games at this
Four
point.
games in a row, he's got the first touch.
He's gotten the first touch. And later in the Arkansas game, they finally did the pump and go. Um, and they did it out of two different types of concepts, but things like that I kind of expect to see in this game
Mhm.
at some point is building on that, right? And I expect A&M to be on top of those tendencies. I think it's going to be a chess match, right? What you kind of anticipate, what you threw out there on film versus Arkansas, because we were obviously able to hit plenty of explosives last week and had our most explosive day of the season, but it was against a very putrid, you know, Arkansas secondary that just
Absolutely,
is
just
just
terrible.
just lost in space, right? But they're a team that have been competitive in all these games, and it just it was a weird game until Taylor Green decided he was done, and literally did the Rick Barry, just gave us literally tapped out and gave us the ball,
Hey,
and was like, "I'm good, bro."
Taylor Green was the reason Arkansas that game was very close against us because I want to say we scored 5, 6 drives in a row, and it's just like why are they so close? Because you look at the stat sheet, seriously, you look at the stat sheet, and it's like they didn't really do too much, but Taylor Green, when they needed him, would bust off a long run, bust off a touchdown, create time, find someone deep. He was a one man army out there, and he was honestly like at 60, 75% when he played us too. So he does a lot, and that team relied on him a lot this year to get where they are. And I can, 10 games, 9, 10 games in after being hit as much as he had, I don't blame him for being like, Coach, I'm tired. It's like I'm good.
What is before we go like X Factor players, right? Like people that you think are so start getting that in your mind, like some players that you think could have impact on game that aren't maybe household names, so to speak. But what like to you, Texas A&M wins the football game if they do X, right? Like what are some of those things that like I call them the gotta habits. Like for what does that look like on y'all side? And feel free to say I need to target XYZ on Texas. Like I think he's a matchup. Like last year I told you I was like y'all safeties and them can't tackle. And I
Yeah.
did. And that was they were part I'm like if they're gonna be in the run fits, that's gonna be an issue, brother. Like what do you see on your side?
I think we need to find more ways to include Jamarian Morrow in the pass game. The kid is a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He's a mixed match against a linebacker, in my opinion. Even against someone with the quality of Ant Hill, I think he's able to create space. I also think, and he's not as much of uh, a lesser known name now, but I think Ashton Bethel's got to come and really have a breakout game. I think PK is going to do what he can to limit Concepcion, to limit Craver. So we have to find that next threat. The tight ends, I mean, I think it's a blessing to have so many tight ends, but you also don't know what to expect from them. You got Bo Richter back there, the transfer from Nebraska, who's played a lot of ball. So he's just a baller. He knows what he's doing out there, and he's a good guy to have when things are tough. Do I expect him to make his plays? Yeah, but he's also not someone who's going to, he's not Thor who's going to break off a 30-yard run from the tight end position. He's not Black who can go up and win a one-on-one with someone, isolated. but he's a just a baller that's going to methodically get you first downs when you need it and make sure he puts himself in the best position. So, Jamari Morrow, Ashton Bethel Roman, those are two guys that I'm really hoping on the offensive side has a day. Because I think if so, that means we're doing some things well. Defensively, um, hopefully, this is somewhere where we hear a name like Marco Jones. I think he's young, he's a freshman, but you look at him physically, 6'5", very explosive off the ball. A guy who, if you decide, hey, we're going to chip Cassius out, we're going to double team him, we're going to make him a non-factor. Hopefully, against that isolated blocking scheme, he's able to create some pressure and do some things. If not, then hey, we got I trust our linebacker core. York's playing at a high level right now. He's almost back to what he was with a freshman, 3-star at Temple, and I just love what he's brought to that position to this team. So those are two guys on offense, one on defense. As far as just names to know, hopefully they have a breakout. And if you're hearing those names a lot, I think it really bodes out well for my Ags.
People said Eye Black because obviously this is a game against his former team. Um, the brother didn't play a whole lot for us because he just couldn't block. I mean, it just was as simple as that. He didn't get a whole lot of opportunities at Texas. I don't know if it's been any better at Texas A&M this year for him. Sounds like he's
not for blocking. We got two others in there for blocking, but hey, we get in that red zone. We're inside the 20. We might split them out there and be like, hey, here's a one-on-one matchup. What are you going to do?
Gotcha. Well, you know what? To that point, I mean, we have been susceptible to getting beat on seam. I mean, shit, we couldn't recognize Eli Stowers if it saved our lives. So that could be something that's a trigger. I guess I just want to see how on a macro scale, the mentality in this game, right? I do think that this is a test, and it's been a test all year that you guys have passed, right? You talked about A&M winning on the road at Notre Dame in the manner in which they won it, being a shootout, having the ball, winning the game, having a penalty, having adversity, overcoming that, and still winning the game. I felt like another moment was LSU at night. And I know LSU is not the normal LSU, but it was still LSU in Death Valley.
I mean, they're still
And
undefeated in that situation going into that game.
going into that game, they were undefeated in that situation. And, it ends with BK getting fired, right? After LSU was up in that game at
You're
one
welcome,
point.
Billy.
Took out the trash, Billy. Now the test is Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is because I don't care, like, there is that big brother, little brother type energy right now. And there is that mentality of like, yeah, you did XYZ. We don't care what you did. But I mean, we kind of saw it in basketball last year when we played in the SEC tournament. And it was like, all of a sudden, why is this game close? Why is this game in overtime? Why is this game in double overtime? And so what I'd like to, I think that some people as Texas fans, I'm not, because this starts to border on like the Sooner Magic bullshit. But like, I do think that there's people that just believe that eh, even now A&M's gonna fumble this, right? Like they're gonna Aggie's gonna Aggie when it gets down to it. They don't have the cojones to go 12-0 and beat on Texas soil and do it, right? Do you believe in any of that stuff? Is that a real thing? Is that just fan talk? Like,
Hey,
how
fans
do
will
you?
talk. Battered Aggie syndrome. There's all these things, but Elko has said it before, and I love how he stated it. That's the past. Like, don't hold me to that because that's not who I am. That's not what I've done. That's not what this team's done, and I'm right there with it. So no, I don't have that going into this game. Not now. If you would have asked me this, in August, maybe, but hey, not now. Now I'm very confident in this team. I'm very confident in what we're doing, and I'm excited to, come in Austin and see what we can do. Especially to me, like Texas is a hot team. Like they're peaking at the right time, in my opinion. Whether you get into a playoff or not, who knows? But as far as, what, 5 game winning streak, 5 or 6, like that's peaking at the right time to me. So what
Well,
better way?
we lost the Georgia game.
Ah, that's right. Gosh, oh God, I didn't see the Georgia game. My bad. Prior to that, what was it? 5 wins.
Yeah,
So
we won like 4 or 5 in a row, and then
yeah,
the Georgia
like,
game, and then
but you're
yeah.
peaking at the right time, and Georgia's a good team. And I hope Klein would watch that game, took some notes on how to disrupt what PK wants to do, because I mean he was able to do things. I was in shock. I've never seen. I think highly of Texas' defense, and I just never thought that would happen. So we'll see.
That damn onside kick.
Hey, that was
Great.
a thing of beauty. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Brianna though. I love the
Brianna
Marcel
said,
Reed earlier.
yeah, she's been a Marcel Reed fan for since he got the job.
I love
You
it.
know,
I love it, Bree.
I let it. I just you got to pick your battles. But
Hey, thanks for picking that battle, Bree. I love it.
she likes Arch too, though.
Oh,
She
hey.
cares. She likes Arch too. Um. So if LSU beats OU and Auburn beats Bama, Texas beats A&M, will they replace OU in the CFP with Texas potentially?
Yeah, it's possible for sure.
Here's the thing, guys. We need the reason why the percentages are so low is because there's a lot of variables on the table. Um, and there's variables that people aren't even thinking about, right? Like the whole Michigan Ohio State thing, I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this. If Michigan beats Ohio State, they're in. That's another spot taken that was not accounted for, because that would be a 10-2 Michigan team.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's still ahead of us. Yes, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. We need Vanderbilt to lose. There's a lot of help we're gonna need. Now it starts with us. So we're gonna need to. And some people have said, do we need to go belt to ass in this game? Blah blah blah. Like, brother, we need to beating an undefeated A&M team at 11-0 coming in here should be enough. I'm sorry. Like, you're not gonna like now if something were to happen like that, great. But like, I can't even have that energy because we truly haven't done that to anybody other than OU, like of substance, right? Like in all seriousness, our games have been either close or we've taken the L. So to me, it's just like in all these scenarios, I'm just focused on the other thing too is like if we're not making the playoffs, I want to develop this roster for next year. I want to make sure that what we got going into 2026, especially 2026 Arch, needs to be treated like you got one of them ones next year. You know what I mean? And so I want whoever is going to be here, that's who I want a part of this moving forward and developing. And I think you can do two things at once. I do think you can develop guys and push forward and still win and give yourself a best opportunity. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive to me. But I'm just looking at the comments. Kyle Witherspoon said, here's an unknown variable. If Texas beats an undefeated top 3 team, then some 2-loss teams, you can jump like a Vandy.
Possibly.
Possibly.
I think that's when the eye test comes in.
I did not see Brooks Austin say that. I would love to know what context he said that in, because the committee doesn't feel that way. How about that? Because if the committee felt that way, Tennessee would already be ahead of Texas right now. So I don't see that. I'm not worried about Tennessee. No.
Me either.
No. Yeah, Michigan.
I saw this. This is kind of crazy. Like, that's a lot of ass right there. That's a lot to ask.
That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask.
I wonder what the parlay would be on that.
You know somebody's going to be in there with some witchcraft and voodoo and all sorts of things, just
Mm,
with little dolls in a room trying to, let the dominoes fall. You know, I mean, these are look. Could Alabama lose at Auburn? Absolutely.
mhm.
Michigan, Ohio State hasn't beaten Michigan since before COVID. Vandy at Tennessee is no joke. Like these are all very real things. Miami could lose to Pitt. The thing is, will all of these scenarios happen?
Right.
Right. That's, I mean, that's why I'm
That's a
like,
lot.
yo, just worry about Friday. And then from there, what happens, happens. To me, the moment that, to me, I was done thinking about, I haven't put a whole lot of thought into the playoff stuff because to me, like, we haven't looked like a playoff team at all. And I know that's sometimes not the point, but it's just like, I'm more concerned about like why is my football team operating the way it is? Why am I so penalized? Why are we struggling in third down coverages and things of that sort, right? And so, you know, like there's no guarantee that we're gonna just go and beat you guys. To me, I mean, well, like
I mean, I
I
saw
don't know. I think
somebody say this is the easiest win that they've had on the schedule
I
already. So, hey,
I
I'm
I
glad you
don't
feel
know.
that way.
I don't know. I mean, it's just all these kooky scenarios. Anything can happen. It's college football. Don't get me wrong.
Any
And
given
if
Saturday.
and if somebody offered me a playoff spot, yeah, I'm taking it. But that I don't know. I just think it's a lot of mental gymnastics to try to validate your your unsuccessful season to try to make yourself feel better. Like I don't know. That's my opinion. Um, these things could happen, but will all these scenarios happen and everything works out the way we want it to? Who knows? What does this game mean for A&M? Is I mean, because outside of the rivalry and all that stuff aside, I mean, you guys are. Is there any scenario where you play yourselves out of the SEC championship game? Like how? What's?
Oh yeah, if we lose and if we lose, Alabama wins, then it could be Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship.
Would
So
you be upset about that?
yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? At this point,
You want to win the SEC right now, is
yeah,
what you're
of
saying. Okay.
course. I mean, it starts with the conference. Like we win an SEC title, okay, that's the initial goal. You put this in tiers and milestones. What's the first thing with pretty much any team? You want to win your conference. You win your conference, you go to the playoffs. Now you want to compete for the national championship. So I'm not going to bypass, hey, I don't care about this. Let's go to the playoffs. No, I want to win the conference. So in order to do that, we have to go into Austin and do something we haven't done in a while. So yeah, this game means a lot to to the fan base. It means a lot to the players. Losing last year in the manner that we did sucked, but now we have a great team, and these coaches and players are uh, amped and want to go in there and do something about it. So it's a big game. This is I'm not going to say it is a culture defining game, but it is a seismic game. It is hey, we're really for real. Not only are we talking about it, but now we're backing it up because we're doing it against the road. We're doing it against good teams. We're doing it against quality teams on the road in November. If you'd have told me beginning of the season, hey, we go through November undefeated, I'd have been like, okay, what? Are we still like 8-4, right? But being in this situation, having an opportunity to close it out, undefeated regular season with a chance to go and win conference as the only undefeated SEC school, yeah, it's a big opportunity in front of us.
So I guess I asked that question because a lot of fans want to go the Lane Kiffin route
Mm,
and just sneak in the back door. I don't want the extra war on my palate if I don't need it, right? And because here's my thing, and I'm just saying this from experience. If you go to Atlanta, you got to win. Like you got to win. It ended up working out for us okay to where we didn't win, but we ended up with probably the right type of bracket, if that makes sense. Um, to where it was like, you know, we got Arizona's like Clemson, then Arizona State, blah blah blah. But everybody would, if I still think most teams would still prefer to win their conference and take the bye, right? Like that would be the ideal scenario if you could, because you would be in that, assuming you get there, you're undefeated, you obviously would be one of the top four. So I don't know. It's interesting because going there, getting another war on the body and losing, and then still having to play in the first round is no bueno. Um, you'll win, you'll get a home game at College Station most likely, but it's an extra game, and I do think that Ohio State got a significant advantage last season without a doubt because of that Michigan loss. They went and revamped everything. They had so much time to change, and so that's one of the things where it's like studying this because we only have one data sample of a 12 team playoff so far. This is our second time doing this.
Hmm.
So just thinking about how we would approach that. That's why a lot of people are like, dog, might consider going the Ohio State route and just taking all that time. And wherever we play, we play. So
It's a lot of time though, and if memory serves me correct, Ohio State was the only team with a bye to win. Was there another one, or were they the only ones?
no, they didn't have a bye.
Oh, they didn't have a bye.
No, they played at
Oh,
home versus Tennessee.
I stand corrected. So no team with a bye won, right?
Nobody would have bye one.
And one in a first sample set. So another reason that it may not be bad not to have a bye because that's a long time off, and after a grinding season, having that long time to, I mean, yes, you let the body heal, but if a team's hot and getting hot at the right time, then hey, I'd rather just keep playing ball and figure it out as we navigate that. But yeah, it's definitely no set in stone to your point. Very small sample size. I think it's a two-edged sword. Either way it goes, you can make a case either way. But for me, I like to have ball. If I can keep everyone healthy, still have a game. That way we're not having too much time off. I'll take that route. But again, one less game in order to get to where you want to in a season, that has its benefits as well.
Steve, the girls just beat A&M in the semifinals. Shout out to the ladies volleyball team. I heard it was the absolute war tonight from the messages I've been getting. So shout out to the Texas ladies for getting it done. Some people said, is that foreshadowing for Friday, BA? We coming for y'all.
Hey, two different sports, baby. Two different sports. And A&M volleyball is on the rise. I mean, you never really heard about much about it in recent years. In the last couple of years, the coaching staff there has done pretty well with those women. So, sucks that we lost, but I don't see that as foreshadowing whatsoever.
I love it. I love it. Well, coming up on time here. How do you see this football game playing out? Like, what is your vision for, like, just how you see this thing coming together, or do you have multiple scenarios? I mean, what say you in terms of any sort of prediction, or just what you see path to victory?
I see a war. I do. I see a war coming. I see each team being able to land blows left and right. I see each team being able to counter those blows left and right. And it's just, it could come down to who has the ball last. It could come down to who allows that levee to break. Georgia was the onside kick that allowed the levee to break. And, with that, it was like, okay, when is that moment going to happen? I think if A&M comes out and Marcel Reed's able to progress the ball in the air, it's going to be a good situation. I think if the defense is able to put Arch and Sark in third and long situations early on, give us a little bit of time to still into the game, I think that's going to be good, especially on the road. I think if the run game, anytime you travel, run game is very important. So I think if the run game is able to, maybe get 3-4 yards a clip, okay, we're in a good situation. But I think in the day, it's going to be a war. I do like us to win. I think it's going to be 28-24. Less than a touchdown. But I do think we're ready.
28-24, Texas A&M. What's the over under for this game?
I have no idea.
Let me see. 51 and a half. So that'd be 50. Would that be right? 52?
Yeah.
Wow, BA.
Had no idea.
Wow. Wow. Look at you. Some people have speculated that you haven't been on the channel because you're superstitious and believe that it's, you know, now Coach Snark is saying you guys are cursed because you showed up.
Oh no, no, I'm not superstitious. I was just coaching, baby. Grinding with the youth tackle team. Shout out Nice Dragons and my Silverback boys that played there. We took those boys to an undefeated regular season, so that just took a lot of time, and we just couldn't make it work. But now that that's over, got a little bit more time on my hands, and Steve reached out, so here I am. But hey, I ain't running from no camera. I'm not running from the smoke.
I'm not running from the smoke. I love it. I love it. I love it. What's up with your kicker? Because I feel like he could be an X factor in this game.
I
He looks
mean,
a
we'll
little
see. Xerxes was hurt most of the season. Randy Bond has been inconsistent. I, we'll see. We'll see. I
inconsistent.
hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't come down to it.
He smells like Bert Auburn to me.
I just, hey, through the years he's been good. He's been good and
Right.
kind to us, but this year maybe he got the yips. You never know. Kicking is just one of those things, kind of like putting in golf. Sometimes it's just off, and you know don't really know what to do to correct it. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. He's missing a lot of things that. A lot of kicks that in years past were no brainers, and losing that job in the season, or sorry, losing that job in camp could have had a mental effect on him as well. But while Xerxes was hurt, he stepped in, did okay. So we'll see. But again, I hope it doesn't come down to a last minute kick. That might be something I have to close my eyes on.
Mm. Hey, at least you're keeping it real, brother, as always. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you for coming on. Anything you want to promote or got anything else you want to share with the people before we sign off?
Oh man, you caught me off guard, but everyone knows Big Tran. So me and Tran, we run a youth football organization, Silverback Select. And so, if you have any kids that are between the ages of 8 and 14, please have them reach out to myself, reach out to John Tran. We're so much about just developing athletes, the future generation. I'm pretty sure some of them, unfortunately, will be Longhorns, but also a couple might be Aggies. But, we're here to help these kids develop leadership, accountability, and develop as athletes on and off the field. So if you know anyone, give us a shout. We love to work with you and see what we can do.
Really proud of you guys and you in particular because I know you're living a dream. You've always talked about the coaches that were very influential in your football journey and coincidentally your journey becoming a man from boys to men, right?
Yeah.
And to see you doing that in the community while also being a parent to a daughter and everything else you got going on. You are, I really look up to you guys and I think it's very admirable what you guys are doing in the community for these young boys. I see them. I see how much they love you guys and just how much they've grown. Not just on the field. We know they. It's funny, y'all under us like y'all actually undersell yourselves. You're like, yeah, we just casually went undefeated. Like y'all balling. Schemes fire. Everything's looking good, but off the field, like having them, excel in the classroom, respect their parents, all those type of
Wow.
things. Y'all are all over them
To that
about that
point,
stuff.
thanks for bringing that up. To that point, our tackle football team, our skill position had a cumulative GPA of 3.8. Our lineman had a cumulative GPA of 3.2. We had, I believe, four presidents or vice presidents of student council within our 10U class. So we're promoting these boys to, again, be leaders on and off the field. If they don't make it in football, we expect them to be leaders in whatever they do. So thanks for reminding me of that. Shout out to the parents. Without them, none of this even works. So they've entrusted us to help develop these boys and teach them life lessons through this game of football, and we're grateful. We're blessed for it. And shout out to you. Hey, you have this platform that we're able to speak on it, and it's just been it's an amazing blessing. So we appreciate you, brother.
No, you and Trey are doing the Lord's work down there. I'm proud of you both, um, folks. We will be back tomorrow. Sean from Horns Take podcast will be on at 7. And then we also may be getting an appearance from the brothers from Unfiltered Longhorn Talk as well. They want to come on as well. So we'll have a busy week. And then I think Wednesday we'll do, we might just get together and rewatch last year's game to see if
We ain't got to
there's,
do that.
we ain't got to do that. Yeah. Okay. Of course, his ass don't want to rewatch last year's game. But nah, BA, I can't wait till Friday, man. Can't
Likewise.
we get to chop it up. I'm not ready to get my prediction yet. I'm still grinding the tape. You'll get it by probably end of tomorrow.
Now who's the one running from the smoke?
There's no running from the smoke here. I need to brother, when your team becomes Jekyll and Hyde, you need to do your homework. Um, I don't know who's gonna show up. So I need
Neither.
to
Hey,
find I like we like we may turn around and it's like, is that Sark? No, this is not Sark. It's Patricia. Like, or
hey, I'm right there
somebody.
with you. I've seen this defense put the clamps on teams. I've seen this defense give up 40 points. I have no idea which one's going to be. But the fact that we've been able to play complementary football offensively all season's been a huge blessing. So that's what's giving me the confidence right now.
I need to see. Um, we didn't even talk about penalties. We are heavily. Y'all are actually not doing great in penalties. That's the one thing
Uh,
y'all are
oh, we started out, we
not.
were fifth worst in the country the first 5 or 6 games. It was a
Y'all
running
cleaned it up a
joke.
little bit.
We've cleaned it up a
Yeah.
little bit. It's not as bad, but yeah, we're still not great.
Okay. Yeah, but I'll have my prediction tomorrow. I honestly, like depending on what time you ask me today, I'm wavering. I'm wavering because I do respect the hell of this A&M football team. You didn't hear me talking a whole bunch of trash. We talk matchups and talk ball here. When I know I got a matchup, I'm gonna be. And there's some. I do think there are some for Texas here, and I
Oh yeah.
think we talked about that earlier. But you know, we got to see. We got to
Literally,
see.
we put the clamps on Auburn, Mississippi State. Um, Mainly those two, as far as the SEC goes, kept both of them. And I think Auburn had what 10 points. Mississippi State had maybe less than 10. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I can't recall. But that's in the SEC. It's hard to do, especially with explosive teams like that. That veer and shoot offense in Mississippi State, man, it's hard to stop, especially if you're not prepared.
Oh, they almost got us up out of there. Lord
I know.
knows. We hey, we still standing.
Yes,
Corey
sir.
said, "Yeah, we still standing." All right, Texas A&M -2.5 point favorites. Last time I think Texas was home dogs was probably Bama. Um, Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. When was the last time Texas was home dogs? I think it was Bama. So we
I
definitely can
mean,
use that to our advantage. Um, yeah, let me know in the comments what your predictions are and how you feel this game will play out. If you have any questions for Brandon that he can answer later on, be happy to rap about it. But appreciate you coming on early in the week. I'm thankful for you, just like I'm thankful for this chat. So happy Thanksgiving to you and yours out there. And guys, remember, especially you, Brandon, horns always up. Hook
Gig 'em, baby.
'em.